but that doesn't mean kids get to turn off their brains for a few months. But how can we keep those developing minds sharp until September?
Huge question, right? So here to help is teacher and parenting writer Kate Winn. Hi, Kate.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Okay, we're going to hear questions from our viewers throughout this segment, but I wanted to start off with this hilarious comment from Sue on Facebook, who wrote, "Where can I run and hide until September?"
Oh, no.
Since we all can't run and hide from our kids, and we do want to keep their brains sort of activated and then motivated and educated through the summer, what are some of the main concerns that you hear from parents as the school year comes to a close?
Well, my 2 girls are now home for summer, so I want to know what Sue wants to know. Where can I hide? But a lot of parents, actually, their biggest worry is what to do with the kids to engage them all summer long. And I mean, we're going to talk about some things, academic and otherwise, that will help. But it's important to remember kids need that downtime too, right? They need some rest and relaxation as well. And I think parents often feel guilty when they're working in the summer and not home with their kids. But tons of kids go to camp and go to daycare. Older kids are home looking after themselves. Everybody turns out fine. So we all do our best and we can make it a great summer.
Yeah, my kids are doing a happy dance too because school's out. And they're so happy about that. But there is that thing called the summer slide where we know that academic levels can drop because kids drop off. They don't do what they need to do during the summer. So how do we do that? How do we attain that balance where they still get the stuff that's going to help them with the summer slide, but they have fun as well?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a real thing. It was studied by Johns Hopkins University and others. We know that especially with reading, their levels drop. So keep that reading going for sure. They can't just take a break. And a lot of the things that they're doing anyway keeps their brains active, all the games and travel and all of that sort of stuff. And you want to just keep that growth mindset going that we've talked about before. We want kids to always think that when they work hard and persevere at things that they can get better, they can get smarter at school, but also with summer things like learning to ride a bike or going off the diving board. Celebrate all those small successes, maybe have video from when they couldn't do it and then once they can. And that just really helps foster that mindset and celebrates the growth and the learning.
I always hear some, yes, it's worth laughing at. I always think it's important for children to keep reading books and reading them at their level, but I don't know if parents always know what that exactly means. So how do you figure that out?
There are a few different ways. So if your child's in school, your teacher might have given you an indication of what level they're at, and different schools use different systems. It might be a letter or it might be a number, and you could always take that to the library or the bookstore and have someone there help you kind of correlate that with books. Some books are still published with reading levels on the back of them. So for example, if it said RL 4.2, that would mean the second month of grade 4 is the reading level for that. I know, right? Okay. And something we often tell parents is when kids are reading a book with full pages of text, hold up a finger each time there's a word they don't know. If they get to 5 fingers, it probably means that book is too challenging. They're not going to have the comprehension and get what they need from there. And another thing, I just found a great website that's brand new to me, but it's bookadventure.com, and they have a book finder tool on there. So not only can you look up the name of a book, and if it's in their database, it will tell you what grade level it's written at, but you can also put in your child's grade, whether they're reading at, above, or below level, whether they like fiction or non, and check off some of their interests, and it will generate a list of books that would be great for them. So that's really
great.
Neat.
Yeah. On Facebook asked about a question I think most parents are familiar with about screen time. So we know that so many kids love their screens, but are there any apps or websites that can actually help them maintain their learning throughout the summer even though school is out?
Absolutely, and I have a couple of little screen lovers at home, so I know all about this too. One that's really great is called Storymaker. And in that one, they get to actually design their own stories. They can pick characters, they can pick from different props and things, so they don't have to be incredibly artistic themselves, but they can feel like they're putting together professional looking pictures and also write the text to go along with it. So it's pretty neat because they get that, that satisfaction of having written a little book, which is fun for them. For practicing math skills, Math Academy by the App Tower is a good one for that, addition, subtraction, all of those things. You can set it for the right level for your child. And it's just a way to practice. It's fun for the kids. It's motivational and they get points and all of that, but they're practicing things that they can keep fresh over the summer. And another really neat one is called I Spot. And it's kind of the same idea as I Spy, but there are different boards on the tablet like road trip or doctor's office. And the kids look around their own environment and then check off the things that they find. So it can be a competition and again, points and things like that, but it's fun and interactive.
That's great. Keeping learning fun. I love that. Okay, we've got a question now from @KittyLies on Twitter. And she says, starting my grade 11 year in high school, any do's and don'ts going in? What about older students in high school? How can they make the most of their summer and get ready for it?
I already love this girl, can I just say? Like, I love that a grade 11 wrote into us.
For sure. Absolutely. no matter what age, I always say reading. And of course, in the summer, you have the joy of being able to read what you want. No teacher has assigned it, and there are no questions to go along with it. So that's one thing. Early in high school, I think volunteer hours are great. I know some places that's actually a requirement for high school graduation, but even if it's not, it's still great to get that on your resume, and it's a wonderful thing to do with your time. If you're getting older into the later years of high school, summer jobs for sure, being able to make your own money, that financial literacy aspect, and of course saving for the future, maybe post-secondary. And on that note as well, using some time over the holidays to look into things, maybe a trade you're interested in, and maybe you want to visit some college and university campuses, or just online research into programs while you've got the time. And something that's not academic at all, but I would still recommend for teens, is finding physical activity that you love to do. Because we know the teen years can be so stressful in secondary and beyond, and we also know that exercise can be great for that. And not everybody's into team sports, exhibit A, not at all. But I'm a treadmill person, and I kind of wish I had discovered that earlier, because I think that would have benefited me. So, you know, when it's summertime, it's nice you've got some time. That might be a way to find that thing that's going to work for you for physical activity.
Okay, let's talk about at the end of the school year. Obviously, people have been clearing out their cubby holes and whatever, and they come home a lot of times with a lot of art and projects.
Yes.
What's the best way to handle all that stuff?
Well, it depends on your goal. So if you want to be able to reuse, you can make greeting cards or use it as wrapping paper, use it as placemats, and then it goes when you're done. You can display. There are some neat frames you can buy with little latches where you can change things in and out. I have a nice frame in my kitchen with clips on the bottom, and it says every child is an artist. So we put things up and then we take it down and off it goes. Something I've always said I wanted to do was have a collage made out of artwork. You can do that yourself if you're the type. I'm more of the type to outsource. There are places like Etsy Art that will do that for you, and then you can just get rid of all the originals and have something made that you can display in your home, which is really neat. With notebooks and things like that, a lot of it can just be recycled. We recycle. My daughters brought home their piles. We keep some of their creative writing or religion reflections, really special things, but I don't think it's stuff that you need to keep for the future. I'm all about the purging.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes. Last but not least, this is a personal question. My son's starting JK in the fall. Is there any tips that you have for parents who are in the same predicament that I am in to prepare our kids for them?
Well, as a kindergarten teacher myself, you might be surprised that I'm going to say it's not the academics that you should be worried about at all. No, thinking about the independent skills. So things like being able to use the washroom by themselves, including the zipping and the hand washing, putting shoes on and off, putting things in a backpack and trying to close it and trying to open it up again, that sort of thing. Opening and closing lunch and snack containers, all of that. That's really important. If they're ready, they can do a little bit of, colors and counting, maybe starting the alphabet or recognizing their name, but that's not the priority. Just be as positive as you can. They've got a long education ahead of them, and you want to make sure you're always being positive about school. Feel better?
I do.
Thank you so much. We're going to see you on the other side of this short break.